Welcome to your tutorial TA100, or we can say PL-300, as we know that TA100 is already expiring. So let us start with this question, and this question we need to rename the attribute, and we need to visualize to include all the measures in data over the time and year over year calculation. So here first you need to transpose the table, unpivot all columns, then rename the measures, and then change the data type of the year column to date. Very good scenario in which there must be some picture where you have to give sub scenarios, and in this you need to select the answer choice that complete each statement. So the first one is contours dataset is consumed directly by the contours bikes report, and real-time dashboard depends on 3 dataset. In this question, you need to review a query that produces 10,000 rows, and you need to identify whether a column contains only unique values, and we need to tell which two data preview options can you use. The first one is column profile, and the second one is column distribution. So again we need to give the correct answer, and we know that to combine customer tables we have append queries as new, and action to perform on the original 2 SQL database queries disable loading the query to the data model. So if we disable loading the query to data model, it will help to less memory consumption, lead to better performance in most of the cases. So this is again a scenario where you are giving the sample file, and you need to tell me if it is the yes or no. For example, the resulting query will contain all the columns from 2018 transaction. So if you see here, yes, we have the 2018 data, then resulting contain all the columns from 2019 transactions. Then again it is the correct one, and the setting data detection to based on first 200 rows will improve import times. Yes, so whenever we are going to select these kind of parameter, that it will fetch only 200 rows, and it will improve the import time also. This is also an example in which you have to transfer the data to ensure that you can build the visuals, and the solution will ensure that all the columns are named appropriately for the data they contain. So which 3 action we need to perform? So correct answer is, first we need to select use first row as headers, then select department and product and unpivot all the columns, and rename the attribute columns to year and the value column to revenue. For more information, you can go to the support.microsoft.com, and there we have this topic like unpivot column power queries, how to pivot and unpivot data. So here we are building a financial report, and we have a query like this. Okay, so what should be your parameter that you are going to use? So here first, as we know that we need to calculate all the quarter data, then we need to use date add, and the return we need to divide. Okay, so Here in community-power.vi we have a topic of error calculating. So like this it will be showing, and from there you can get all the topics related to the this topic, like error calculating and Power BI desktop. This question is related to you have a custom connector that return ID from to subject body and has attachment for every mail, and you need to send during the past year more than 10 million records are written. So you build a report analyzing the internal network of employee. So what should you do? You just remove the subject and body column during the import. Okay, and again in this question your company has training video that are published to YouTube. You need to surface the videos directly in a Microsoft Power BI dashboard. So which type of title should you add? So you will use custom streaming uh, data, and in this page only we can get the service real-time streaming. We have this option in Power BI. Now we need to build a report to analyze customer transaction from a database, and which relationship should you link to table. As we know, we have one to one, one to many, many to many, but in this scenario we use one to many because we need to get data from the customer and transaction. In this scenario we need to get top 100 customer, and we just using the top n for getting top 100 customer data. Then we have a option of summarize, and then in a decreasing order we get the top 100 customer by using this command. In this scenario we have two tables, customer and invoice, and what we need to do, first of all we can use cardinality of one to many, and then we can use the cross filter direction as a single. So what single is doing for one to many relationship, the cross filter direction is always the one side, and from the many it is like a bidirectional. So that's why we are using single here. In this question, we have the Microsoft Power BI model that contains three tables: name, order, date, and city. And again, we have one to many relationship between date and order. If a user is a member of both role and one what data they see in a report that uses the model. So for this, the user will see data for which the state province is this, and see, or the calendar year is 2020, because these two are the requirement that we need to find out. So again, this is the topic related to the RLS guidance, and again, as I mentioned, I always prefer docs.microsoft.com for any kind of certification that I am going for the Azure or Microsoft. In this, we are providing the transaction and affiliate. Again, we need to calculate the revenue. As we know, as we know that calculate is using for calculating, then we need to use sumx for transaction amount. Top n is for getting top 50 transactions, and on the basis of transaction date we can get the data. So these are the few questions that I'm going to discuss. So in today I will discuss two more questions only. This one is, you are configuring a Microsoft Power BI data model to ensure user to ask natural language question by using Q&A. You need to ensure that user can get a useful result for subscriber count by using Q&A. What should you do? You just add a synonym of subscriber to the customer table. Okay, by using this you can easily do. And again, I will show these two topics from docs.microsoft.com is very important, row level security, and the second one is the best practice to optimize Q&A in Power BI. So these two small questions can give you more point. So I'm going to stop my video. In next video I will cover another question. Hope all of you are doing good, and all the best for your exams.